In the financial world, the name Bill Gross is well known. He is honored as the Bond King. His life is full of dramatic twists and amazing achievements. Starting from the gambling tables in Las Vegas, he climbed to the peak of the global finance industry and then experienced the turmoil of being expelled from the company he founded. His story is more exciting than any fictional financial drama. Imagine a young man heading to Las Vegas with only $200 in his pocket, dreaming of getting rich overnight. That man was Bill Gross. At that time, he had just survived a near-fatal car accident and had spent nearly a year in the hospital. To pass the time, he began reading books about the art of gambling. Among them, Beat the Dealer, written by mathematician Edward Thorpe, completely changed his fate. This book elaborated on how to beat the casino in the game of blackjack by counting cards. Gross regarded this book as a treasure, studied it repeatedly, and mastered the strategies in it. With these skills, he was like a fish in water in the casino. In just 6 months, he turned $200 into $10,000. This was no small amount of money. At that time, it was enough to pay for his MBA tuition at the University of California, Los Angeles. This gambling experience not only provided him with financial support but, more importantly, cultivated his keen sense of risk and precise strategic thinking. These qualities played a crucial role in his future financial career. Gross did not initially aim to engage in the financial field. During his college years at Duke University, he chose psychology as his major, hoping to explore the mysteries of the human mind. However, the trajectory of his life took a significant turn just before he graduated. A serious car accident threw his life into chaos. At the same time, his best friend was unfortunately killed in the Vietnam War. These double blows plunged him into pain and confusion. Out of nostalgia for his friend and a sense of responsibility, he decided to join the military, even though he was not conscripted at that time. On the battlefield in Vietnam, he served as an assistant chief engineer on a U.S. Navy ship, responsible for transporting Navy SEALs on missions. This military career strengthened his will and taught him to remain calm under extreme pressure, laying a solid psychological foundation for him to deal with the complex and ever-changing financial market in the future. In 1971, after retiring from the military, Gross joined Pacific Mutual Insurance Company as a junior bond analyst. At that time, the U.S. economy was facing severe inflation and the bond market was in a slump. Traditional bond investment methods could hardly yield real returns. Facing this dilemma, Gross, with his unique insights accumulated from gambling, proposed a bold strategy: actively trading bonds. In that era when bond trading was relatively conservative, the idea of buying and selling bonds frequently every day sounded extremely risky. But Gross firmly believed that by closely following market trends and actively trading, not only could he cope with the risks brought by inflation but also seize investment opportunities in market fluctuations. His supervisor was moved by his enthusiasm and firm belief and agreed to give him $15 million to form a bond portfolio. Facts proved that Gross's strategy was correct. In 1975, while most investors who passively held bonds were struggling in the market, the portfolio he managed achieved a yield of 17.6% and nearly 18% the following year. This outstanding performance made him stand out in the financial world and laid the groundwork for his future establishment of Pacific Investment Management Company, PIMCO. In the late 1970s, PIMCO was founded. Gross integrated the experience he had summarized from gambling and investment into the company's operations. He always adhered to two core principles. First, every investment should have an edge, ensuring a winning probability of over 50%. Second, reasonably control the investment scale, increasing investment when there is a high degree of certainty and being cautious when there is a high degree of uncertainty. This rigorous investment strategy enabled PIMCO to stand out in the highly competitive financial market and gradually develop into one of the largest bond investment management companies in the world. Under Gross's leadership, PIMCO continued to innovate in such as mortgage-backed securities, treasury bond futures, and convertible bonds. Gross's outstanding performance in the financial market was not only reflected in his investment strategies but also in his accurate prediction of market trends. In 1999, the dot-com bubble was in a stage of wild inflation and the entire market was immersed in a frenzy. However, Gross was insightful and warned in his monthly investment column that the dot-com bubble was about to burst. Unfortunately, most people were carried away by the market prosperity at that time and ignored his warning. But the facts finally proved him right. The burst of the dot-com bubble caused huge losses to many investors, while PIMCO, thanks to Gross's foresight, successfully avoided this crisis. In 2005, Gross once again demonstrated his extraordinary insight. At that time, the U.S. real estate market presented a false prosperity, and housing prices were skyrocketing. Gross noticed that in some areas of California, housing prices had doubled in just 24 months. This irrational price increase hid huge risks. To understand the real situation of the market in depth, he dispatched 11 mortgage analysts to 20 cities for investigation. The analysts pretended to be potential homebuyers and communicated with real estate agents and mortgage brokers to obtain a large amount of first-hand information. Based on these investigation results, Gross warned investors in October 2005 that the subprime mortgage crisis was imminent. However, his warning was once again ignored by the market. People were still immersed in the false prosperity of the real estate market. It was not until 2008 that the subprime mortgage crisis fully erupted, triggering a global financial tsunami. Many financial institutions went bankrupt and investors suffered heavy losses. But PIMCO, thanks to Gross's advanced layout, successfully avoided this crisis. Its total return fund still maintained a yield of 4.3% in 2008, which was particularly outstanding in the market environment at that time. During the 2008 financial crisis, the U.S. government sought Gross's help to save the collapsing financial system. As a bond investor, Gross knew that this was both a huge challenge and a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. After arduous negotiations with the government, he reached a deal that was almost risk-free and guaranteed a 25% return. He invested a large amount of money in mortgage-backed securities, knowing well that if the market went wrong, the government would be responsible for repaying the debts. This decision not only demonstrated his ability to seize opportunities in a crisis but also brought substantial returns to PIMCO, further consolidating his position in the financial world. However, life is not always smooth sailing. In 2014, serious conflicts arose between Gross and PIMCO, which he had founded. The power struggle within the company eventually led to his expulsion from the company he had built. This news shocked the entire financial world. People could hardly imagine that the bond king would suffer such a setback. But Gross did not get discouraged. He sued PIMCO and received an $81 million settlement. Subsequently, he joined Janus Henderson, a competitor of PIMCO, and continued to manage the global unconstrained bond fund, proving with practical actions that his abilities had not diminished after leaving PIMCO. In 2019, at the age of 74, Bill Gross officially announced his retirement, ending his long and glorious financial career. Looking back on his life, from the gambling tables in Las Vegas to the peak of global finance and then to his rise again after setbacks, his story is full of legendary colors. His success is not accidental. It stems from his continuous pursuit of knowledge, precise control of risks, and decisive decision-making at critical moments. His investment philosophy and strategies not only provide valuable references for investors but also have a profound impact on the development of the entire financial industry. Bill Gross's story is a story of dreams, perseverance, and wisdom. His experiences tell us that when facing the challenges and opportunities in life, as long as we dare to pursue our dreams, keep learning, and remain calm and decisive, we are likely to create our own glory. His legend will always be inscribed in the long river of financial history, inspiring generations of people to continue exploring and moving forward in the financial field.